right, here we go again. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, God of Heroics, and it is too early for this nonsense, but we're gonna go ahead and make this video anyway. I've been meaning to talk about my personal feelings on AI, but I kind of just haven't. Well, I've mentioned it before in a stream, but I never made a full video on my channel about it. And my cat is fighting a fly, which is wonderful. So you'll hear that in the background as well. Anyway, um, personally, I think AI is a tool, and it is a tool that can be utilized to assist in what we need help with, much like how we've been using AI in the past before it became this extremely big conglomerate asset. It's just a tool to help people do things that they normally wouldn't be able to do, or for the sake of convenience to make things easier. Now, that does not mean that I believe we should be using AI for everything. It just simply means that I believe AI should be a tool for the sake of convenience. And I kind of came onto this idea of doing this video because in one of my discords, someone likes to use AI art just for the sake of putting their OC in a video game against other characters. And they're not using this for monetary gain. They're not posting it on Twitter or anything. They're just putting it in the art channel on our Discord and just showing, hey, this is what it would look like if my character fought so-and-so. There's no point in going the opposite route that everyone would normally say, yo, just get an artist to do it or do it yourself. First of all, not everybody is artistically gifted, and not everybody has the time to learn to be artistically talented. And on top of that, if your thing that you're using is just a fun little thing that you pretty much just do as a personal project, and you're not posting it everywhere to get some kind of like high view count, or you're not trying to get the opinions of tons of people across social media, and you're not trying to use it in any kind of official work, then my question is, why the fuck do you care? If somebody else is posting art that they decided to have made in AI and it doesn't affect you, shut the fuck up. Like, just being real. Like, they posted their art and then somebody told them to stop using AI art, and they even deleted the post out of, like, I guess, shame that they were using AI art. But to be honest, I don't think there's any shame in something like that. And that's not to say that I personally use AI art. I mean, I have in the past, like, had AI just make pictures, but I don't post them and pretend that I'm the one drawing them. And that's the other thing. As long as you're not saying that you're the one creating these pictures when you post them, it really shouldn't matter. If you're telling people, hey, I made this image in AI, or I made this video in AI, or whatever have you, at least you're being honest about it. And then there's the whole thing of, once again, people saying, oh, just pay an artist to do it. Or when they say, oh, you're taking money out of the pockets of other artists. That is a fucking lie. And let me tell you why. Because these people that are using AI to have this done are not planning to spend money to have this art done. A lot of people are not like paying for these big subscriptions that that a lot of these AI softwares have. So, for example, if I went onto Sora AI or whatever, is it still up? I don't remember if Sora AI is still up or whatever. But a lot of people are using Sora AI to make anime fight scenes. And to be honest, a lot of it was kind of wonky, but over time it progressed to a point where it was looking fairly decent. You can tell it wasn't hand drawn or made by people, but it was looking fairly decent. So for example, if I decided to go to Sora AI and I put a picture of Kirito and another one of Roxas, and I had Sora AI make Roxas and Kirito fight, I'm not gonna post it on Twitter and say, hey guys, I just animated Sora versus Kirito. I'm gonna say, hey, AI, I made this AI battle of Sora versus Kirito. And this does not take money out of the pockets of any artist or animators, because I was not spending money on Sora AI. I paid Sora the exact same amount that I would have paid a regular person. Literally fucking nothing. I, me and anybody else who have ever decided to use AI for something, for any kind of art, whether they claim that they did it or they claim that, just being honest, this is actually AI, we are paying the exact same amount of money for this project that we are paying for any other project. Literally fucking nothing. And most artists and animators are not going to do something like that for free, especially if it's such a big project or if you want the details to be to come out a certain way. You would have to pay somebody for that. And a lot of artists charge a decent amount that a lot of people don't have or are not willing to pay. So for this, I say AI is not really a problem. However, it becomes a problem when people are using AI for the whole projects. For example, in Marvel's Secret Invasion, a lot of the visuals in the intro, I think the entire intro actually, was completely generated in AI. That is for sure taking money out of the pockets of artists and animators, and that's because Disney has the money to literally hire and pay people to do this professionally, yet they chose to take shortcuts. This is a multi-million, dare I say, billion-dollar corporation that has the money to pretty much pay anybody to do anything. They just keep taking shortcuts so they can save on money, which I don't fucking understand why you're saving on money just to make a shitty project instead of, spending actual cash to make it good. But I digress. That's not my fucking business. Secret Wars or Secret Invasions, whatever the fuck it was actual garbage. But and then you have the nonsense with Amazon where they were what is it? They released Banana Fish, I think it was, and they used AI to voice like all the characters. And then yeah, that I hate. That I hate because we have tons of voice actors. I mean, I'm a voice actor, but there's no way I was, I'm not represented by some big anime or gaming agency, so there's no way, very very low chances I would have even gotten looked at by Amazon for this project. But there are tons of voice actors that are willing to do stuff with Amazon or with any other what is it studio or any other project pretty much. And what also irritates me is I think I heard, I haven't seen it myself, but I'm pretty sure that Banana Fish already had a dub, so Amazon going out of its way to make an AI dub was just horrendous. And I don't think this was the only anime they did this to. I'm pretty sure there were quite a few, but they pretty much got bullied into taking it down. Now, the only time I can definitely say that a big company or corporation using AI was a good thing was, I believe it was Crunchyroll. There were anime that had AI subtitles that was translating Japanese to English or other languages, and this I'm actually okay with, and it's because localizers have been absolute dog water for a long time. They are supposed to be translating the shows and the words into English and other languages, and I understand not everything said in Japanese is going to translate correctly or even sound right when translated to English. And so, for the sake of allowing people to bond and understand situations, they often change some of the wording to fit the situation and make it funnier. For example, not necessarily a one-to-one in this conversation, but ghost stories. The story of ghost stories, the dialogue, it's not the same. The story's the same, but the dialogue is not the same. And that's because they were given the chance to do that. And I know this isn't like subtitles that we're talking about, but this is in general talking about changing something for the sake of making it better for the people watching it. So anybody who watches ghost stories in English is going to have a way better time with it than if they watched it in Japanese. And that's because the language that's used in the show is made to make it more likable to this current audience or the current audience at the time. Meanwhile, you have things like like let's say for example that what was the name of the anime? You guys know the name of the anime. I don't remember because it's not something I watched, but I heard about it on Rev's channel where they said Merry Christmas, and in Japanese they don't have words for Merry Christmas, so they have like katakana, which is the phonetic way of saying it. So they literally say Merry Christmas, and you hear it like they straight up say it. They say Merry Christmas. Though Japanese voice actors and voice actresses say Merry Christmas, and they changed it to like Happy Holidays. And then there's some other anime where localizers are changing the words to call people like chuds or whatever, and they're pretty much just pushing their own agendas, regardless of whether they be like political agendas or you know, like gender-based agendas or sexuality-based agendas onto these anime. And it's changing the context, because in the anime they could say something like, oh my dad is such a douche, but then the localizers would be like, oh, my dad is a left-wing chud, what is wrong with him? And I'm like, that had nothing to do with what was being said. You're just changing not just the wording, but it's also changing the context of what's going on with these characters. So I'm okay with like localizers being replaced with AI, at least until we find good localizers that are going to do their job correctly. To be honest, that's something I would do. If someone wants to hit me up and be like, hey, translate this into this and just keep it as close as possible to the source material, yeah, I'll do it. You don't even have to tell me to keep it close to source material. That's what I will do. I'll just translate it as best as I can. If I have to paraphrase a little bit, that's fine. But like, I'm not gonna push some kind of political agenda just for the sake of, you know, whatever the hell. Anyway, so all this to say, or all this to lead into my next part. I have used AI myself, and I don't use it in some crazy way. I don't use it like to make a full model or to make a full video. I don't use it for my voice or anything like that. And I know everybody kind of is upset when anybody uses AI for any reason whatsoever, because they assume that the second you touch AI, that it's just gonna draw tendrils out of everyone's computers, turn into fucking Decepticons and take over the world, and they're gonna start Ultron and fucking Terminator all at the same time, along with Decepticons and all that bullshit with no Optimus Prime to save us. Yeah, I'm sorry that you're stupid, but that's not my fault. Anyway, I have gone out of my way to create my own models. This one is the only one I haven't made, and it's because I bought it. So don't come after me for that, because I know some people would be like, oh, you didn't make this one, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, every model that I own, I have made the design for. Literally every single one of them. Even ones that you haven't seen, like my original model. I originally made a 3D model for my character, and because my computer could not run the 3D model, I went ahead and made a PNG model so that I could utilize that. And then I just sort of kept making PNG models over and over. So I have several of these things, and I'm pretty sure you guys have seen all of them. But there is my newest model does have a little bit of AI assistance. I had AI pose my character. If this pisses you off, you can just suck a fat one, because like, first of all, not your character. Second of all, didn't take money out of your pockets, because I wasn't gonna pay somebody to pose a character. I already basically created, no, not even basically, I 100% created this whole thing from top to bottom. Even the Maharaga wheel that is currently above my character's head, I had to go through painstaking editing, which really sucked because chroma key is a bitch to deal with sometimes. And I had to do a lot just to get that wheel not only above my character's head, but to have the sections in between the spokes be transparent. And then once I had all of that done, I even used that model like that for a while, until I decided I wanted a better pose for my model so that I could have it float around and look all nice and stuff. And yeah, there was no way for me to pose my character with the softwares that I was using to build my character. I used Avi to make my character. I even did some I even used Charit.me to make my chibi characters, and some of the other models, especially the ones that I made for my friends. All the ones on my friends are literally made by me, especially well, you haven't seen the new one, but you will in a future video. So yeah, I genuinely just used AI and was like, hey, take this exact character as it is, make no changes to its design, but just give me different anime-like poses. And it gave me several different options until I finally settled on one. And I had to keep playing with it. This wasn't like, oh, I was just like, hey, give me an anime pose. And I was like, boom, that's it. No, I had to be very specific in what I wanted because I didn't want the art style changed. I didn't want any of the colors changed. I didn't want any of the expressions changed or any of that. And on top of that, there was like very specific kinds of poses that I was thinking of because like I said, I wanted him to float. So I had to try to like describe it in as many ways as possible. I had to keep telling it to regenerate and stuff like that. And because I decided not to pay for any of these AI nonsense, I just went ahead and just waited several days for the resets because sometimes they reset after like 24 hours or 2 days or whatever. So yeah, that was a whole bitch and a half. And there were several times where it did still change things that I didn't want it to be changed. So it was back to the drawing board. But yeah, essentially, that is that. I used AI to pose my character. So the pose that you see my avatar doing, well, not in the cookie run videos, but the one before that, yeah, that like all the reaction videos and stuff, I had AI pose my character. And if you feel some type of way because my character that I was not going to pay anyone to make or pay anyone to pose, and that I'm currently making zero bread off of because my YouTube channel and streams haven't gotten me paid yet, then yeah, you're just a contrarian for the sake of being a contrarian. Anyway, all of that is to say, I've been yapping way longer than I planned to. This was genuinely supposed to be like 10 minutes, and here we are approaching 20. Anyway, all of that to say that AI is not the problem, it's the way people are using it. These giant corporations taking AI and using it to make anything that they plan to actually get paid off of, like that one series on, I believe it's Amazon or Disney Plus, the stupid one with the fruits and whatever the fuck. It's so stupid. But anyway, using AI to create giant projects that you're actually making money off of instead of paying people to actually work on it, that is, yes, in fact, literally stealing jobs from people. And that is 100% true. However, using AI to make fun little whatever the fucks here and there, and then saying that it's AI should not be a problem, especially if, again, you're not planning to pay anybody for it. You were never planning to pay anybody for it. You didn't even pay the AI subscription fees or whatever the fuck, and you're not getting paid for the post. Really shouldn't be a big deal, like at all. Let people have fun. Let AI be a tool. Just, I mean, to be honest, if you hate AI, some of y'all are hypocritical as fuck because a lot of we've been using AI for the longest. Google has an AI smart engine that, with this predictive text and telling, like, giving you the AI overviews that a lot of people use, even though they would say they don't. Siri is literally AI. If you talk to Google or you use Siri for any reason whatsoever, you're using AI. And it's very hypocritical if you're like, oh, don't use AI for this, but I can ask Siri questions, or I can ask Siri to shoot a text for me, or I can ask Siri to call somebody or whatever. You're using AI, you're just being a fucking pretentious asshole about what can and cannot be used as far as what you consider to be AI. Don't get me started on the fucking social media algorithms, because there is not a single social media alive right now that uses human reviews every single day on every single post to make sure that nothing is against guidelines or whatever. It is all AI. If you've ever looked for a job, you're going to be basically allowing AI to review your resume and decide if you should have a job or not, or decide if you should have an interview or whatever. The AI is everywhere. It's for the sake of convenience. As long as it's not taking jobs from people, please stop giving a shit. Because to be honest, you guys only like AI when it's convenient for you. I'm looking at you, Apple users. Hey Siri, turn off this fucking video. I'm done with this. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.